us. He said, and Elohim created the Adam, male and female created he them. But before he did that, he said, let us make the Adam just like the angels, so they're automatons, and they'll do exactly what we tell them to, because I'm all that and 2 bags of potato chips. I don't want anything to be in my image and likeness. Oh, wait. It's that other Bible. Let us make the Adam in our image, in our likeness. Okay? It's been revealed to me what I shall be. I have to be in the image and likeness of Elohim. Not that I look like Elohim, but that I have the capacity to mitpalel. I have the capacity to communicate with Elohim. I have the capacity to judge. I have the capacity to think outside the box. I have the capacity to have free will. I have the capacity to say, I'm not going to do what your Torah says, as well as the capacity to say, I'm going to do exactly what your Torah says. I have the capacity to, as we looked at in our last lesson, eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil all day long until I'm gorged, and submit myself to the enticements of the Satan, yield to my emotional states that lead me to the devil, a word that actually means to be deceived. Or I can choose to eat from the tree of life that does what? Keeps me in the garden with my Elohim, being aware of him, walking in that garden in the breeze of the day. Do I have to be in some place called Eden in order to be aware of Yahuwah Elohim walking in the word used there is ruach of the yom. Yom, we say, oh, it means day, but yom also means perpetual time. All the time. Can I be aware of my Elohim spiritually on a regular basis? Why did he create me? What shall I be? I am to be in his image and likeness so that I can communicate with my Elohim, so that I can build a relationship with my Elohim, so I can see eye to eye on how I should treat other people according to the way he's taught me to. What has he taught me? Be mean to everyone you see, take everything they have, and if you see a little kid walking by with a popsicle, take his popsicle and finish it off. Push him to the ground while you're there. Kick the cat. While you're at it, kick the dog. That's not what it says. Love your neighbor as yourself. I have to love myself before I can love my neighbor. What does the Torah teach me? It teaches me to respect who I am, and then respect other people the way I respect myself. And then the Torah tells me, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think it was Rabbi Akiva was asked to stand on one foot and give the entire meaning of the Torah. So he stood on one foot. I can do it this way. Yeah, you're deaf in one ear. You can't stand on 2 feet, much less one. So he stands on one foot and he says, do not do that which is hateful to others, that you would not have them do to you. And he says the rest of the Torah is nothing but commentary. Then he tells the king, now go and study. What is to be in the image and likeness of Elohim? To have a relationship with my Elohim and to love my neighbor as myself. What did Yahusha say? After he says the Shema. And you will love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, your soul, your mind, your strength. And then you love your neighbor as yourself. What is it to be in the likeness of Elohim? What am I to be? So we have to consider, it has not appeared what we shall be to not really jive. Let's take a look at here. And it has not yet been revealed what we shall be. Well, that doesn't really jive either. Let's take a look at it. The word for revealed is, in this case, an obscure word that's not used very often. It's gala. Up there somewhere, gala. Not gala, gala. That means to uncover, to discover, to be made bare, to be naked. So we're not going to take off our clothes all at one time because they have a church for that somewhere else, from what I understand. What is it to be naked? What is it to be gala? Okay? We do not recognize being gala yet. Where do we read about the Adam being naked? Well, we can go back to Bereshit 2:25 in their Bible. And it says what? I got to get to 2:25. It says, and they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they weren't ashamed. So, why do I not understand this part yet? Because now it's a work in progress. I'm moving towards. If I'm restored and established, towards being able to be exposed to my Elohim. Can I be exposed to my Elohim now? I don't want to be a lot of times. Why do I not want to be? Because I'm ashamed of things that I do. I don't have to tell you about the things that I do. I keep my life a total secret. I can give you the Facebook best of myself, and you will never know. But Elohim will know. Okay? What this is telling us is that if I'm restored and established, I must become aware of the fact that he knows who I am. And I must be willing to expose myself to my Elohim. Okay? I cannot be superficial. I must be transparent. What you see is the same thing that my Elohim sees. Okay? That is what it is to become the kids call it to be real. He's so fake. What is it to be real? That's what we're looking for. That is what we shall be. I am to be totally and completely transparent to my Elohim, and I am to be totally aware of his presence, and in this I am restored and established completely in him. So, what are we to be? How were we created to be? Considering this, are we still unaware that we need to have it revealed to us? Well, no. John has just revealed it. He's saying you have to be restored, you have to come on board with the Word, and you need to be transparent. Not just to the people around you, but you have to be transparent in your relationship with your Elohim. You have to become real. Okay? So how does this relate to our study of Shoftim and Yahusha restoring sight to a blind man? What did the blind man say? This is not a joke. What did we study in Shoftim last week? What was the main part of Shoftim last week? What trees to cut down and what trees not to cut down. Trees that are good for food, don't cut them down. Trees that are not good for food, cut them down. Okay? How does that relate to what we're talking about? When Yahusha restored the blind man, you brought this up. Okay? And interestingly, the next day someone brought it up in class as well. What did the blind man say when Yahusha restored his sight? I see men as trees. Okay? What kind of tree do I need to be? if I want to be restored and established in my Elohim, do we have someone that wrote something that gives us an inkling of what it is to be, what John is telling us we need to get back to? We go to Psalms, Psalmas, nope, not that one. 1, 1. Psalms 1:1. It's in that there Bible too. Listen to what this says. Blessed is the man who shall not walk in the counsel of the wicked, and shall not stand in the path of the sinners. Basically, will not stand in the way of those who are Torahless. And not sit in the seat of scoffers. Okay? Pay attention to where you're at. Don't pay attention to what the world has to say about you. Okay? But his delight is in the Torah of Yahuwah, and he meditates in his Torah day and night. For he shall be as a tree planted by the rivers of water, that yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. And whatever he does prospers. The wicked are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind blows away. The wind blows away. They become alam. They become something that vanishes, as opposed to being tabel, something that is carried, something that is led. Therefore the wicked shall not rise in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. Ooh, ah. What judgment is he talking about? What congregation is he talking about? Okay? You have a white throne judgment in the congregation of the righteous between the 7th day of Sukkot and the 8th day of Sukkot, where the Satan is released. Why would the Satan be released? To tempt. I must be able to control the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. Why? Because I've already eaten from it. I can't take that back. But I cannot allow the enticements of the Satan to generate the emotion to where I do what Ish and Isha did. What did they do? It wasn't that they ate from the tree. That wasn't the sin. The sin was lying about it, hiding about it, not becoming transparent. They realized they were naked and hid themselves. When I realize that I'm no longer transparent, do I make teshuvah and continue in my transparency? Or do I decide that I'm on the same level as Elohim, and Elohim should not see me as who I am, although he's going to see me as who I am anyway, until I decide that I no longer wish to be seen. At that point, I become alam. I become something that is no longer in his mind. Okay? I become cut off. Okay? So, when we look at this, when he is revealed, not appears, we shall be like him. Who is he revealed? The word used in this case is ayin, which means eye, but it also refers to something of the mind and spirit. When we receive the perception of the mind and spirit of Yahuwah Elohim, when we become aware of him, what happens? I'm still in Psalms. Let's go back to over here. I will be like him when I can perceive who Yahuwah my Elohim is, when I become aware of him walking with me in the spirit of the day, when he is in my mind and in my perception and I am aware of him, then I become what I am supposed to be, which is what? a creation in the image and likeness of Elohim, who has the ability to communicate with Elohim, who has the ability to have mitpalel, the ability to judge, to discern, to perceive, to understand. The next phrase, when he is revealed, not appears, we shall be like him. We see him, we perceive him. What we can consider is that when Yahuwah is in our mind and spirit, he is seen by us, and his image and likeness manifests itself in and through us. We move towards being what we were created to be. Am I what I was created to be right now? No. I'm restored and established in the authority of my Elohim. But I have a lot of work to do. And I'm moving towards doing that work. Why do I have the feasts and festivals? Because every one of them is a reminder that I am moving in the direction of the world to come. Every one of those feasts and festivals reminds me that I have work to do. Okay? Even what we do every Friday for Shabbat can serve as a reminder to us. What do we do? Well, how do we start this thing? Ed makes perhaps the most important statement in the whole service. Nothing I say up here is as important as what Ed says prior to blowing that shofar. And what he says is, Leshamoa kol shofar. That we perceive his voice in the shofar, but it has the word kol. Kol means in its entirety, that we perceive his voice in its entirety in the blowing of the shofar. Did the children of Israel perceive the voice of Elohim at Sinai? They said they wanted to. I say I want to. But after the voice starts blowing and they hear the shofar, and in the shofar are the commandments being given, they freak out, wig out, and stress out because there's thunder and lightning. Thunder and lightning. I can't remember it all. It's frightening. Okay, anyway. Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo. No, I'm sorry. They're distracted. So distracted that they don't listen to anything. And they go to Moses afterwards and say, we can't listen to that. You listen for us. Tell us what it says. And if it's okay, we'll go along with it. Okay? Leshamoa kol shofar, the very beginning of the service. I should be asking myself when he does that, and I start listening to that shofar, am I going to be aware of the presence of my Elohim? Because very shortly thereafter, we are going to be ushered into the presence of our Elohim by Mr. David. Okay? It's a few steps along, but it comes. We ask, or we give thanks, basically. When we say Baruch atah Yahuwah, oh, you're so blessed, Elohim, that you get to give us bread. We are such a blessing to you. You should be grateful that. No. Baruch is a word that means I submit to you. I bend my knee to you. I'm grateful to you for this bread, for this provision that you give me. But we make a statement afterwards. It's not in the Torah, not even in the Talmud, including Yahushua, our bread of life. Okay? I'm not necessarily thanking him for some guy named Yahushua. I'm grateful that some guy named Yahushua became the vehicle of sacrifice that restored a covenant between myself and my Elohim. It was necessary, but Yahushua, he gave to me Yahushua, the bread of life. Yahushua is also a word that is used in the Tanakh to describe the Torah. Yahushua, when we read about him in the Gospels, spoke of himself as being the word of Elohim, and gave to us your word to bring me redemption, deliverance, and restoration. restoration. That is the bread of life. The wine. Borei Peri Hagafen. Borei Peri Hagafen. L'chaim v'shalom. Did we do l'chaim v'shalom? I can't remember. But anyway, the wine. What is the wine? Why am I grateful for the wine? Mickey's bread is fantastic. I don't need anything to wash it down. But the wine now is a representation not only of the blood of Yahusha, but we consider the wedding at Cana. That when the old wine runs out, when the age of the Adam ceases, it is only through the water that the age of Mashiach can begin. Only through the water that the day of Yahuwah can begin. And that is given to the guests at the bride feast, at the wedding feast, and it's better than the first. Okay? What am I being grateful for in the wine? That I have life through my Elohim, that I have life through Yahusha, that I have life through His Word, and that through His Word I have been transformed into a new creation. Then I say what? It's actually in the Shulchan Aruch. L'chaim v'shalom. To life and peace. What do we do next? Well, we love our neighbors as ourselves. What's going on with you? How can I pray for you? How can we pray for you? People that we don't know, we write down and we pray for these people. I take this list and I put it on my desk and I pray for these people every day. Okay? We love our neighbors as ourselves in this period of time. Okay? What do we do after that? We spend time together in fellowship. Then comes the most important part. We recite the Shema. Only we do a second part of the Shema. That's kind of an interesting part. We say, Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is Echad. In every aspect of my life, at every moment that I exist, I am in the presence of a power that redeems me, delivers me, restores me, heals me, and brings me rest, and I am in agreement with that. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Blessed be your name. I am grateful for your name. But Baruch Shem Kevod, more than that, I am grateful for your great name. Is the name Yahuwah a great name? Yeah. It's the root of Yahusha. It's the root of Yesha. But also I am grateful for Shem. Shem is also a word that means knowledge. I am grateful for the knowledge of you. And I'm grateful for the knowledge that I'm going to receive. Malchuto leolam vaed. I am grateful that your magnificent kingdom is coming. And that will be Malchuto leolam vaed, will exist forever and ever. Then, with that, we enter into the presence of our Elohim. What happens during praise and worship? This is a time for us to close our eyes and connect to my Elohim. It's a time for us to pray for others. It's a time for us to pray because He's ushering in the presence in us. We can feel it or we cannot feel it. Depends on where we are. It gives us an opportunity to do something that we've discussed in the past, but I don't bring it up because I try not to bring too many elements from other aspects of Judaism into things, but it allows us to enter into a period of kavana, which is a closeness with Elohim. And if we praise and worship and become intense in that worship, it ushers us into devakut, where we are aware, intimately aware of Elohim, not aware of anything around us. Okay? Then what happens when we are in the presence of Elohim? This is the time for the Ruach to come and speak to us. Now, I am nothing. I am not all that in a bag of potato chips. Well, I can't say that because my Saturday class did give me a bag of potato chips, so I can say that I am something and I have a bag of potato chips. But we come into a period of learning. We have an opportunity to learn or not learn. We have an opportunity to take what we learn and take it and apply it. Everything that we do is a reflection again of the feasts and festivals. We enter into this relationship with gratitude, Passover. We take some time to consider our relationship, the counting of the Omer. We're willing to offer ourselves up and make the right choice, Shavuot. We begin to move towards Yom Teruah, where we have to dedicate ourselves to study. We read in Yom Teruah there at Vayikra, Leviticus 23, and you'll have a set-apart convocation and where you will blow the trumpet. If we read that in the Hebrew, it says nothing about blowing a shofar. It says nothing about blowing a trumpet. In the Hebrew of that, it says you will dedicate yourself to a period of study. It's literally what that says in the Hebrew. Dedicate yourself to deciding whether you want a relationship or not, because what comes next? Yom Teruah is also what we've just read. Am I willing to become naked again? What level of transparency am I willing to? Because what comes after Yom Teruah? Kippur, where I need to examine and make sure that that's what I really want to do. I have to humble myself before my Elohim. This is where I make the choice. What is the last thing we do on Yom Kippur? It blows the shofar. What's happening while his lungs are deteriorating into his vocal cords? I picture Ed, his liver's moving up here while he's doing that blast, The ark that contains the Torah is closing. We've taken the Torah and we put it back in the ark. That door is closing because the last step in Yom Kippur, the last step in the age of the Adam, is that final choice. Do I want to have a relationship with my Elohim or not? Do I want to be inside the gate or outside the gate? It's a shofar. Oh no, it's a motorcycle. Anyway, because only then can I truly move towards Sukkot. And what is the last thing we do on Sukkot? What do we do on Shemini Atzeret, the 8th day? We roll the Torah back. We go back to the beginning. And this is what Yahusha told Nicodemus. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born of the water and the Ruach, he is unable to enter into the reign of Elohim. Literally what that says. Unless you go back to the beginning, you cannot enter into the realm of Elohim. What is at the beginning? What is Yochanan saying in 1:3? First Yochanan 3, what we've just considered. You need to not only say you're restored and established in the authority of Elohim, but you need to begin to make your way back to what you were created to be. And if you don't understand it, allow it to be revealed to you. And the only way it's going to be revealed to you is by and through the word of Elohim. And when it is revealed to you, you have to be willing to make yourself naked again in order to be fully transparent to your Elohim. Only then will you truly be aware of your Elohim in the spirit of every moment of your life. Okay? So, I know hopefully I didn't confuse you too much. But when we read it from a Hebraic point of view, as opposed to a Greco-Roman point of view, we understand it that it's talking about us moving towards our relationship with our Elohim. Verse 6 I wanted to touch on, and then I'll stop. Everyone staying in him does not sin. Everyone sinning has neither seen him or known him. There is the choice. If I know who he is, I stay within him. How do I know who he is? I eat from the tree of life. How do I not know who he is? I continue to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. I depend on my own perception and my own opinion